Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin mommy, and it's Monday, December 7th, the day that will live in infamy. I've always liked that date. Anyways, this is a cross-stitching update, not a history channel. It's very windy today, so you might be able to hear that in the background, and hopefully the power doesn't go out, but I'm on my phone, so even if it does, it should be okay. Let's get to it. This past week was pretty crazy. Life-wise, I don't think I've been this busy in a really long time. There were errands of some variety every single day this week going out of my home, which is very unusual during these COVID times. So that just took away time from what I normally needed to do at home, which took away time from stitching because I had to get caught up in the things that I normally do at home. And then there were some other things that having to be away from home for hours and couldn't stitch. So anyways, I had hoped to get a lot more done this week than I did, but I managed to just eke out the amount of stitches that I wanted to get on the Acrostic challenge in the Acrostic Township group, but I didn't get any more than that. So I guess it's a win-lose. So it's all right. So I still have stuff to show you, and I have a lot of different projects that I'm going to work on next week, little bits on a lot of different things. So we'll see how that goes. So first off, let's do my travel stitching, I guess. I have my temperature tree, which I used for my acrostic as well, and got two challenges or two letters used, checked off with this, which is fun. I got the December branch finished and the leaves from this past week. And the branch stitching gave me a little over 100 stitches, which I needed for one acrostic letter, and then I got like 56, 59 stitches of leaves, which was for another letter. So that was pretty cool. So here is my tree now. This is 1/1. 28 count light blue even weave from Artiste at Hobby Lobby, and my branches are done. So that's an exciting feeling. My December branch is finished, and then I got the last 2 leaves of November and the first 5 of December started, so that's great. I do 7 at a time. I work on this on Sunday, and it's really, really quick. So if you get behind on it, it's pretty easy to get caught up compared to some of the other temperature pieces. I'm excited to work on the typography this coming year. I've got to figure out at some point what fabric I'm going to use and get that all kitted up, since I like to do that in the car. Let's see. So that's that one. I think that turned out pretty nice. It's almost done. And then this one is the Prim Stitch series, Beauty and Simplicity. I didn't get to this at all last week, but I did a little bit this week. Not as much as I would have liked, and I haven't received a notification that the next one is coming, so I'm not sure what's up with that, but because I think they're usually here by now. So hopefully I'll get that this week, but I need to finish this one first, so it's okay. Here's where I'm at now compared to last week. This is on the called for 25 count vintage cloth by Lori Holt in the color Prim. And I'm doing my 1/1 with playing with specialty stitches as I go. So I only had this first one done before, so I did these 2 yellow flowers and almost all of this yellow flower. There's one more little row on the bottom there that I didn't quite get done in the grocery pickup today. So I'll get that done, and then I'll start working on the reddish pink flowers around the edges. So it's a simple one, but I just haven't had any time to work on it. So that's the way it goes. I also worked continually on Quick Stitch Iris, not as much as previous weeks, but I did get several days on it. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days out of 7, so not too shabby. I will show you a picture. I'm showing this every week, but maybe you don't always see all of my videos. So This is Quick Stitch Iris by Heaven and Earth Designs. It's a nice, easy one. I believe it's only 4 pages. It's pretty small. 150 by 177. So it's definitely doable if you want to start ahead. This is a nice small one. And here is where I'm at this week with 5 stitching chunks on it. I really wanted to keep going on this on Sunday because I have an amount on my string right in here that had a big chunk. I'm like, oh, that'd be so fun. But I really wanted to finish up the stitches for my acrostic on my waterfall piece. So I went ahead and put this down after I got, I think it's 62 stitches, and I'll do that today. So that should be an easy chunk to get my stitches in today pretty quickly. So I never remember exactly what I do, but I am picking colors along this top. So I have done some in this leaf and some in the green, in the gray. So I'm not somewhere in there. I think there was some brown that came down into here, into this flower too. So this is 25 count, 1/1, full crosses. So that's coming along, and I do have it as my goal to finish this next year because I'm going to continue to do this 60 stitches a day average throughout the new year to try to meet the goal for Full Coverage Fanatics' group, 21,000 stitches in the year 2021. So I'll start with this one. I have less than that left on this one. So when this one's done, I'll pull out my waterfall piece, which I'll show you here. And that will be my piece that will take over when Quick Stitch is done to finish the 21 in 21 challenge. So that's this one. And I highly doubt I'll get the top row done because of how little stitching I got done this week, but I may get some more time on it this coming week. We'll have to see how the week plays out. But even if I don't, I think it will be fine because going into next year, once I add this to my 60 stitches a day goal piece, I think it will be a lot more doable because right now I like the colors, but there's such big chunks of color and the full crosses, so it just feels really tedious to me. The Quick Stitch Iris is full crosses and it doesn't feel that bad, but I think it's because there's smaller chunks of color and mixed it with bits of confetti, so it's a lot more interesting. So this is, I find myself not wanting to work on it even when I have time, and then when I get into it and it's fine, but it's just very mindless. And I know some of you like mindless, but I like to be challenged a little bit more in my cross stitching. So this is where I got to. I managed to get 2 acrostic letters done of 200 stitches each plus a 100 stitch one. So I got a little over 500 stitches on this week, which is great. It's nice progress, but it's nowhere near what I need to get done to finish the top row. And that's okay. I'll work on it as much as I can. So here is where it's at now, and I'll do like a before and after of the top row for you. Mostly, I think it was all that light blue color. I just did several strings of that, and I have another one on my needle right now, and so I'll pull that in. Lots and lots of light blue, and there's lots more of it. So I just kept that same color out. There's a few missing stitches in here that are white. But I kept going down farther just because there's so much of that light blue. I figured I'd rather just, and it's a blend of between white and 727, I think. So I just kept going because I had the blend color, both bobbins out, and I just wanted to keep plugging away at that same color rather than putting the bobbins away and picking up something else. So I just plugged away at that one color this whole time. 520 stitches roughly, something like that. I have several acrostic goals this week. One is 200 and all the rest are 100. And I think if I get decent stitching time, which is the trick really, if I get decent stitching time every day, I should be able to get the 100 stitch goals finished in an evening with maybe some extra bonus time to spend on it beyond the 100 stitches. If that is the case, then I realized I have 2 bonus days left in the week that I could work on this some more if I feel like I have the option to do that. if life gets crazy again and I'm unable to get my 100 stitch challenges done in one day because I just have 0 stitching time or whatever, then I reserve the right to just not work on this and spread those other goals out. Because I have 4 pieces throughout the week and 1 more on Sunday. So, but I'm hoping that I can get those other little ones done on the day that I've assigned them, and then I can pull this out for 2 more days at the end of the week and see if I can get a little bit more done on that. So that would be kind of a fun bonus. I still have no, if I don't get that top row done, I'm okay. I just would like to get as far as I can. I think that's maybe my goal. So let's see. The other thing I worked on this week for my regular stitching was my husband's piece, which is a Simpsons pattern. I got this on eBay a long time ago and it's no longer available. There's other Simpsons ones up there that are cute, just not this particular one. I also recharted it in my software because the paper copy that I received was really bad. Like the ink was wearing off and all the symbols looked the same. It was bad. So I'm happy with it now. I have restarted it once. I've redone the pattern a couple times, so I'm going to town on it now, so it's good. I did some acrostics on this one too. I think I did a 200 and a 100, so 300 stitches maybe. Yeah. Plus a little bit more on Monday that was not part of the acrostic because it was still in November. So I don't know. Let's see, how many did I get on the 30th? 112. So 2, 3. So I got over 400 stitches on this. So that's pretty cool. Here this is now. Next, compared to last time, this is 40 count even weave 1/1, just white fabric, and 1/1 half stitches. So it's very tiny. First off, I came up to the very tippity top like I do in a lot of my patterns now and picked a couple colors and worked those around the edge of her hair to add to the outline confetti. But because that's not very visible, I wanted my stitches to be visible for the challenge pictures before and after. So I went ahead and worked on the green, or the red in her necklace, which was also in Maggie's Binky pacifier, and the green on her dress, which was also down here around the edge of Lisa. Lisa looks a little creepy right now because her outline's not really showing up very well, but this is the bottom of Marge's dress. And I think I did another, it's still on my needle, a brown color that's in her face, which gave her a little bit more definition in her outline stitches. One of the colors around here was light gray, which got added to this area out here. So that's a little bit more fleshed out as well compared to last time. So the things to look for in the before and afters, because it is a little bit hard to see sometimes what exactly I did. So that's good. It got a nice little chunk there, since I would have liked to get a little bit more since I had given it like 3 days, but one day, I think Tuesday, I didn't stitch. I stitched a little bit on Iris, but I guess I didn't get to Simpsons at all. So that's kind of the way it goes sometimes. Let's see. So going forward into this coming week, I'm hoping things will slow down in real life so that I can have my typical evenings to stitch. I have a lot of, I have a big customer project that I need to finish up this week. So that's definitely something I need to work on and focus on in the middle of the day. So I'm hoping I can have daytime to do that, because if not, that's going to have to be in the evening and cut into my personal time, stitching time. So let's hope life settles down a little bit. So assuming I get time, these are my plans for this coming week. All for the acrostic. This is one that somebody asked about recently, and I knew I did a little bit on it earlier in the year, I think, but it's probably my oldest whip now, or one of my oldest whips. I started this in high school or college, probably high school. So it's like 22 years old, maybe. And it's not done. So I should probably work on it. Somebody asked about it, said they had loved it and bought it, and why am I not working on it? So I figured I could pull it out for an acrostic. And I forget what letter. I got my X's of all the ones I've finished, which is nice. This one is for A, for Antique Shoe Collection, and it's a 100. I thought this one was 200. Do I have it for 2? Let me consult. Yeah, just 100. Okay, so only 100 on this. I think 200 was Winter Queen. It's the only one that has 200. So this is 100 stitches. Not a whole lot that you'll see, but this is where it's at now. This is 14 count. Looks like antique white Aida, or it's just aged over time and it used to be white. But this is really colorful. I like the bright colors. I like the shoes. This tall Victorian boot thing is kind of, I love it. It's my aesthetic. So last time I made sure to go up to the top, and so I started working on this bow and the checkerboard. So I am not sure what I will do, if I will work on more checkerboard, which would be easy but boring. Or I could work on this shoe maybe. That might be more interesting. I don't know, we'll see. This shoe is pretty much done except for backstitching, so I could do that if I felt like backstitching and counting backstitches, but I don't know that I feel like counting backstitches. So, I don't know. I'm supposed to work on this today, so maybe I will just do some more border, because that is technically at the top. So, and that'll be easy to do. So I'll do a chunk of iris stitching that's an easy chunk, and then I'll do a bunch of border on this one. So that should be easy, because Mondays sometimes I run out of time because of editing and all the things with making a video. So that'll be nice. And then the next day I had a wonderful suggestion. Several of you wrote in suggestions for what to do for the letter O, because I said I wasn't sure what to do with the letter O, and there was a possibility of one of the colors in the next Prim Stitch series starting with an O, but no guarantees that color would be in that pattern. And I had a few suggestions, and my favorite one was to work on my Brooks Books Advent Animals Odette Owl. I'm like, yes, that's perfect. It's December. I haven't done more than one color on any of these, except for I did a little bit more on Peter Polar Bear for somebody's birthday sal, and I have finished Kitty Kitty. But all the rest were just started in Christmas in July, and I got one color done on them. So I don't know, I didn't get this ready. I don't know what number Odette Owl is. Here's Kitty Kitty. These were done on 18 count Aida, or are done on 18 count Aida. Kitty Kitty, Mary Mouse. Let's see, where's Odette Owl? I think she was one of the later ones. Here she is. All right, Odette Owl is number 20. So Peter Polar Bear was number 2. So when I worked on that for the birthday sal, I just picked up the next one in the set. But this one I'll need to move along and do a later one, just because it fits the O's. So this is awesome. I'm really happy to have one that legitimately is an O and is something Christmassy. So it's so perfect. So I can't remember your name, Miss whoever gave me this suggestion, but thank you. I love it. So here she is, the start, one color, the gray color. That's all I have started on Odette Owl. So I will do at least 100 stitches on her, and it could be white, to start working on her white, or maybe her eyes. That could be fun too. So we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing on her. White would be pretty fast, I guess, because it would be big blocks of color. So, all right. So that's awesome. I'm excited about that. Work on that for one day. And then the next one is Roses of Provence, and this begins a string of Mirabilias, because I realized, again, I have not worked on my Mirabilias quite as much as I should have this year. So I'm bringing out 3 of them this week, which is exciting. 2 of them only 100 stitches, 1 of them is 200 stitches, but it's more than nothing, and it'll bring it out. If I have time, I can always get a little bit more. So the first one I have written down is Roses of Provence, which I used for I think just 2. So I'd use this for 2 50 stitch challenge letters, one for Nora Corbett, who's the designer, and one for Roses of Provence, the name of the chart, so for the word winter. So here's my Roses of Provence chart. I am doing mine on some color and cotton fabric that's Stonehenge, 32 count Stonehenge linen, and I love the fabric. It's greens and purples. I think it'll be really pretty background color for her in the garden. So this is where I have started. I started in the middle like I do with my Miras to make sure it's centered on the fabric, worked my way up and started in on her skin. So she still has more skin, so I might finish her chin area, but I might work on her, get enough of her face done that I can backstitch her face. That would be my goal, because that's like what I like to do with my Miras. So we'll see how much I can get done on this, at least 100 stitches. So there's the start, and that's exciting. I'm excited to get this out again, because I love color and cotton fabric is like really nice to work with. I really like it. So this is 32 count linen in Stonehenge. It's a little darker, more green than it's showing. It's kind of washing out a little bit, but you can kind of get the idea. And the next Mira, the next day I have will be Villa Mirabilia, because I haven't worked on that very much. I had my goal originally to finish the urn, the pot, the vase, this thing, this year. That was my original goal that I made in January. Probably not going to happen, but at least I will pull it out again and give it at least 100 more stitches. So again, ideally, if I have more time during the day that I have this assigned, I'll get my 100 stitches and then keep going until my stitching time runs out, and maybe get a little bit more. That would be ideal, but at least 100 stitches. So we shall see how the week treats me. So this is an enormous one. Whoa, way back here. It is 32 count green. I don't know what it is. It might be called for. I bought it in an LNS years ago, so I have a memory that it was maybe the called for, or maybe they subbed it for something they had in stock. The called for is Willow Green. So it's Willow Green Belfast, and it does have the orange Zweigart strip on it, so it very likely could be Willow Green, the called for fabric. So it's a light, a warm green color. So I will give you a before of just this area, because this is where I'm planning to work, is somewhere in this pot greenery area. So at least 100 stitches up here will be what I work on whatever day I have this assigned, Thursday. So we'll see. Again, all of it, she's gorgeous, she's huge. I do want to work on her some more. If you want to see one that's farther along, Julie from Stitching in the Cabin is working on this, and she's farther along than I am, so she may even be done by now. I have been behind on videos, and who knows what's going on over there, but I'm hoping to catch some Vlogmas episodes, because I miss those almost every year, so I think it'd be fun to catch some of those. So yeah, so that'll be fun. I'll work on that for one day. Hopefully get at least 100 stitches. Get this rolled up. It's a fat half of fabric, because she's a big lady. Most of my Miras I can get on a fat quarter, because it with 32 count that's usually doable, but even on 32 count with her you need a fat half. So, and then I have 2 days, Friday and Saturday, assuming I can get all of my 100 stitch goals done in the day I assign them. Friday and Saturday are free, so I might be able to bring out my waterfall and do some more in the sky. And then Sunday is a birthday sale for Lorna, I believe, the Ladybird Stitcher. That's the same Lorna. That it's her birthday on the 13th. So she requested that we stitch on a fancy lady of any kind. And so since it's winter, I thought, at least here, although she's summer in Australia, but I thought I would pull out Winter Queen so I could get some time on her as well. And I put her here. She's a 200 stitch goal. I used her for the letter R for royal, because she is a royal as a queen. And I think that's the only one she is in. So I need to get 200 stitches on her, and I will do that on Sunday, Lord willing. Here is where I'm at now. I'm a little farther on her than I have been on some of my newer starts. So she is like, same as the other ones. I've started in the middle, worked my way up. There's some white here as well to help get me to the top. And then I focused in on her head. And I believe last time I worked on this, I finished her hair and jewelry and everything up there, her crown. So this is done, I think. And it looks pretty good, if I do say so myself. So I will start working in here on her hands, and this is part of her like cape that she's clutching. So it's probably white, maybe even some whisper. So we'll see. We'll see what I do in here. Oh, these are some beads right here. So I'll work in here somewhere, get about 200 stitches. So there's the before. This is just 32 count white linen by MCG Textiles, which is what I've done all my other seasonal queens on. I did end up putting Spring Queen on oyster linen because it was practically white, but slightly off, slightly warmer, and I figured the oyster color would look better with spring than winter. Winter needed to be stark white. But I believe my Autumn Queen and Spring Queen, which are finished, are on white. MCG Textiles. So, and I need to switch out on the wall and get my Royal Holiday back up on the wall. We should be doing more Christmas decorating this week, getting our Christmas tree. We get a real one, so we have to wait. We like to wait a little bit into December before we get our tree because we want to keep it up through New Year's and we don't want it to die before then. So once we get our tree, I'll be able to bring in all the Christmas boxes and decorate the house and start wrapping presents and putting them under the tree, little bits here and there. So I'll have other things to do around the house, but I'm hoping the outside of the house errands will be minimal this week. So I do have one thing I need to go do, but hopefully I can get some stitching time. So that would be lovely if I could get some better stitching time this week. I think that's everything I have for you today. So yeah, with that, I hope you enjoy your week, enjoy whatever you are working on right now, and I hope you're doing well, and take care. Happy stitching. Bye.